Ooh, do your kids jump, 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 jump on all the furniture? Can they not sit still? Are they constantly wiggling? Are they running into things? Oh my gosh. Can they just not settle down for one simple second? Or does it feel like their behaviors are just constantly too much and you're just not sure what to do with them, why it's happening in the first place, or how to tame the wild and crazy behaviors? If that is so, you are in the right spot because that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about what to do with behavior when your kids are climbing the walls, bouncing off the furniture, constantly moving and running around, or maybe they're just constantly making noises and they're really, really loud. Maybe you have kids on the other end of the spectrum and they are just overly sensitive. They cry at the drop of a hat. They avoid being around other people, that cover their ears. They're super picky about their clothes, about their shoes, about getting in the car, about eating. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to have two big behaviors and why they might be happening, why you're seeing so much of them right now in 2020, as we're heading into a very, very long winter, and what you can do about it. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I am Dana Abraham, and I am the founder of Calm the Chaos Framework and Lemon Lime Adventures blog. And I'm here today in the middle of our 5-day free series to finish 2020 strong. So far, we've been going over the top struggles that I've seen so many parents dealing with and battling with and struggling with throughout this entire year. And I have seen such an increase of this with all of the transitions and the e-learning and the uncertainty and the all of the different things that we've all been dealing with in 2020 around the world. And so many parents are left feeling completely exhausted, frustrated, and not really sure what to do with all these new behaviors or behaviors that have kind of like boiled up over. So if that is you, just let me know. And I want you to know you are not alone. So before now, we've been talking a lot about, we talked about increased aggression. We talked about how to discipline in the middle of a pandemic when there is so much uncertainty. There's an increase of electronics, and now your kids are having to do school online, or maybe they're going back and forth. There's breaks in routines. We also talked about how to deal with your own exhaustion and overwhelm. That's what we talked about yesterday. And what was funny is if you saw that video, raise your hand because, man, I was exhausted yesterday. And it's so funny because I don't promise that your struggles are going to go away forever. Instead, I want to give you just that light at the end of the tunnel so you can know that there is hope. And these strategies that I'm sharing with you are very high level, but they're things that you can implement right now. I see Vicky Tacoma here, one of our alumni. Hello, Vicky. So good to see you. I love when you guys say hello to me. So there's something really important we've got to talk about before we really dive into the steps of what to do about this over the top behavior that you might be seeing. First, I'm reminded of a story. So the other day in our coaching program, one of our students who's been with us since March, she came in during COVID, and she came in and she's like swore, I'm never doing another parenting program, because she had done several in the past. But she ended up jumping in after her son had a really big meltdown one day. And so just the other day, she's seen so much progress too. She sees her kids differently. Things are different at home, but they are in the middle of a big transition. And here she is moving into a brand new home. And she just posted in the coaching community and she was so upset. She was like, I don't get it. Why can't they sit still for 1 minute? Why do they have to jump on things, pull on things, and make it so difficult for me? And they just make it harder instead of helping. And what was so funny is as I was reading her post and she was talking about how she was carrying a big mattress from the living room, and our kids just kept running and pushing onto it, running and slamming into it and bouncing off, and they were having an absolute blast. They were not thinking about mom on the other side trying to move the mattress to their room and get their brand new room set up. Instead, they were thinking about how much fun they were having. And this poor mom, all she could do is see how wild and crazy her kids' behaviors were, how hyper they were. And she was having such a hard time dealing with that behavior. Now, here's the thing that I know to be true is that she is not alone. I like immediately can remember all the times my mom would say, walk, don't run, get off the furniture, all those things anytime I would take my kids around her house because they were incredibly active, right? Teresa says, are you talking about me? I did not name any names. Not at all. So here we are going to be talking about that type of behavior, though, that hyperactive behavior, the running into things, the can't sit still, the just like too wild, too crazy behaviors. And in order to understand where I'm headed with you guys today, I'm going to talk about something that you may or may not have heard of. If you are raising a kiddo who doesn't quite fit the mold, who's different than all the other kids in town, and who doesn't quite act like your friends' kids when they're posting pictures of their kids, if you've got a kiddo like that, you may have heard of this word. But if you don't, you may not have ever heard it. But I believe that every parent needs to know about this. And the word is sensory. So I'm going to pull up, there we go, my doodle here. So we're talking about why are my kids' behaviors way too much? And we're going to talk about something called sensory. Now, you're probably thinking, all right, I either totally know what sensory is and my kid does not have a disorder, or you're thinking sensory, what in the world is she talking about? Like, I know I have 5 senses, right? I can see, so I have my sight. That's what a lot of us think of. We also think of our smell, right? We think of taste. These are the ones that we were taught growing up is sight, smell, taste. We've also got touch. And yes, I know, Jen. And then I know I'm missing one. Oh, hearing, right? So we can hear. So we've got our hearing. Right? So those are the 5 that we all know and were taught in probably preschool and have probably even taught our own kids. But here's what most people don't know. So I'm going to bring this up kind of big so you guys can see these, is that there are actually more senses than this that many of you probably don't know about. There's actually more than 8, but I'm going to share 8 that affect all children, all adults even. So those of you that absolutely love roller coasters, where are my daredevils in the house? So if you are a daredevil and you love roller coasters, well, that, and I'm just going to draw a roller coaster because I feel like that's such a good example of this one here. So if you either love roller coasters or you get car sick and you're like, no, right? That is something that we call vestibular. So I'm just going to write that down. This is your sense of movement. Can you see how that might play a part in kids that are constantly moving, right? Now, the next one that a lot of people miss is if you are someone who loves trampolines, you love to lean against a wall, or you love cuddles and hugs and tight squeezes and massages, you are most likely someone who enjoys proprioceptive input. And proprioceptive input, what we're talking about here is body awareness. Now, what happens, can you see how a child who has proprioceptive needs and likes proprioceptive input and seeks proprioceptive input might have their hands on things, might be pushing things, touching things, bumping into things, might be jumping on the furniture, climbing on the furniture. A kid that has vestibular seeking, they might be running and in constant movement, spinning, right? And then the final one that is so missed is one that is actually about recognizing your internal cues. So I'm going to put a heart here because it's about recognizing that you're getting upset. It's about recognizing that you have to go to the bathroom. It's about recognizing that you're losing attention span. And this is your interoceptive system. All right. Now, I see some questions. Teresa's like, why? Why, when I provide these opportunities, they get more crazy? Because here's the thing, some of these will excite us, some of these things will calm us, and some of these things will overwhelm us. And knowing exactly which is super vital in being able to support our kids and ourselves. How many of you guys get touched out by the end of the day? How many of you guys get overwhelmed by the sound and all of the things that you're hearing by the end of the day, heck, by like 10 in the morning? That all has to do with your sensory systems and your sensory input. So let's walk you through a couple things that are super important for understanding and dealing with these too much behaviors. So number one, most important thing is that you actually have to know your child's sensory preferences. So what I mean by this is you have to figure out, do they, and I like to do a list like this, right? Like and dislike. Seems so like basic, but guys, this chart can be so helpful. Do you like deep squeezes? Do you like soft touches? Do you like tags in your clothes? Do you like salty or crunchy? Do you like moving really fast? Do you like moving really slow? So you're coming up with different likes and dislikes. Like, I like being fast, right? I like noises. I like music. I like things that flash, like flashing lights, right? So there's several things here. Like, I like slime, right? Maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you dislike noise. Maybe you dislike getting touched out. And honestly, it's so important, because if you know what your kids' likes and dislikes are, and you know what your likes and dislikes are, then you can see if they are polar opposite. Because if they're polar opposite, then you can support your own sensory needs when they are doing something else. So you will know what to avoid that they're doing, and you will know what to lean into that they do that you both like together. So it's a great way to figure out why you might be getting triggered, why you might be getting frustrated, why you might love certain things and not love certain things. So this is just the first step, is know what your kids like and dislike, and know it for yourself as well. Now, the next thing is that we know that every single behavior here at Calm the Chaos, we believe that all behavior is communication. We've taught this one already in this 5-day series, but I cannot say this one enough. All behavior is communication. That means that the behavior you are seeing is a sign, or it is a communication that there is a need under the surface. I want you to picture an iceberg. And what you see above the surface is 1/7 of the behavior. So the fidgeting, the running, the screaming, even your frustrations is 1/7 of what you see. Now, the next thing that I want you to do is, we have something called a behavior funnel. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole thing here, but I want you to picture underneath the iceberg. If you were able to figure out what's under there, a lot of times people jump to different categories, and they pick and they choose and they guess and they assume. But if you were to divide that, we have found that there are 6 core needs for behind all behavior. So there is a need that is not being met. Most of us think that it is power, or it is a sense of attention, or if it's just because they don't like it. But it's so much more than that, and things get missed so often, especially when it comes to sensory. So this would be basic needs, especially the need of safety. We've talked about that one already. Connection. And the one I want you to know about today is sensory. Now, in our full program, we talk about all the others. It's skills, desires, and avoidance. But today we're really focusing in on this sensory piece, that there is a need that is not being met. When you can see their behavior as a need not being met, now we can enter the situation more empathetic. We can enter the situation with so much more compassion and understanding, instead of seeing the behavior as disrespectful or rude or manipulative, or that they're just out to get you. No, they have a need that is not being met. Much like you probably have a need that is not being met if you're getting triggered by their behaviors, right? So let's move on to the next one. So the next one is really questioning, okay, well, if I know there's a need, well, then you want to ask the question, why? Why is this happening more and more and more, especially in the last couple of months? Why has it gotten worse? Well, when our body is in disalarm or in alarm, when we are stressed out by other things around us, when there are huge changes in our environment, when our basic needs aren't being met, when our connection needs aren't being met, all of those things play a huge role in if our sensory needs aren't being met. So think about what has happened since March of this year. Oh my goodness, guys, right? Our schools have closed down, our parks have closed down, we don't spend as much time outside. There are so many things that many of us are doing. We're spending more time on electronics. Our parents are working from home. There's so many different pieces to the puzzle here. And there is a reason why our kids are needing more sensory input than ever before. Even pre-COVID, there are so many reasons why our kids are needing so much sensory input. Most of our kids, now some of you might have kids on a farm, but most of our kids are not raised on a farm carrying buckets of milk and climbing up hills and doing the chores every single morning. Those things can give sensory input, but we're not spending that time outside. We're not spending that time doing that energetic work for our body. And so that is why it's happening more and more and more. With our being stuck inside, we're not getting the sense of movement. We're not getting to experience different senses, different smells. We're not engaging our senses in different ways. So that is one of the reasons, is that we are I'm just going to draw a little box here, but we are stuck inside so much more, and we are just sitting, right, and playing our games, or sitting at a desk doing our e-learning, or we are sitting at the table doing our work, or we are sitting in the car as we drive somewhere. There is so much more sitting and stopping instead of moving and engaging our entire body. Now, that takes us to the final piece, which is, how do we help our kids? If we know their likes and dislikes, if we know that sensory is underneath the surface and we can swap the way we're seeing it, and if we can start to see, ooh, we're not really moving a lot, oh, we're sitting a whole lot, oh, I'm expecting a whole lot of them, then I can start to make a plan together with my children. So I can have them start to recognize, oh, when my hands start to touch things, when my feet start to kick, when I feel the need to push or pull, when I'm starting to get wobbly and fidgety, when I'm starting to spin or run. Now, some kids are going to have so much more of these needs and have so much more of that energy. And so they're going to need a lot more here. But you're going to make a plan that is when, then. Now, this is not a discipline plan. This is not it's discipline in the sense that you're guiding them and you're coaching them and you're teaching them. However, it's not a discipline in the sense of rewards or punishments. When you jump on the furniture, then I'm taking away this. When you do that, then I'm grounding you. When you do this, then I'm going to time out. No, that's not what I mean. Instead, it's when your body gets wiggly. So you're going to kind of pull it back to this little thing here. So when your hands start touching, what can you do? You can get out the slime. When When mommy's like just overwhelmed with noise, then you can go and play Lego, which is a quieter game. When and you're making this together, you're coming up with ideas of ways that you can create a plan that works for both of you, right? All right. So, Teresa, I see you, and I know that you have support inside of our community. So I am going to just ask you to post in there and take it one step at a time, right? They're not going to recognize these behaviors on their own because think about it. How old are you? And you're just learning these, right? So we want to put really help them notice. I notice that your hands are getting fidgety. Remember, we made a plan. We made a plan. When your hands are getting fidgety, we get out the slime. When our hands are getting fidgety, we get out the Lego. When we need to jump, we go here. When we want to run, we go here. We set up an obstacle course, right? So you are reminding them of that plan. It's not going to work beautifully the first time. We know that, right? We create a plan and then we continue to tweak it. Now, I see Rachel saying, is there a list of sensory things that we can use to sort into likes and dislikes? And Becky says, when I try to get them to do quieter activities, then they end up fighting. And Becky, that is going to happen, especially if you don't already have this plan in place. If you haven't built up that connection out of the moment, which is some of the other stuff that we've talked about. Now, the question you guys are, Heather says that the language behind that actually helps me think about how to plan with the kiddos. I love that. So the questions you guys are bringing up are so, so valid. And it is exactly why we have been doing this 5-day series, because we know that 2020 has been a year and we want you to finish 2020 strong and go into 2021 strong and confident with the resources you need to create the relationship with your kids where each of you feel heard and understood, where you are able to connect, where you're able to make plans together, where those fights and those battles kind of start to disappear. And so what we've done is we have put together an epic Black Friday bundle. What we've done is we have taken the top 5 struggles that we have heard you guys struggling with over 2020, that we've helped our students with, that we've helped our coaching clients with, that we've helped the hundreds of thousands of people on our email list with all year since the pandemic started. And we know that you're headed into a very long winter. So we want to arm you with the best of the best resources. So we've done something a little ridiculous. We have bundled together almost all of our resources it's about 7 bundles for less than the price of 1 bundle. It is a ridiculous Black Friday. Now, that is happening in just a couple of days, but we want to make sure that you are on that list. So if you're here on the page and you are watching that, there is a link below. You just have to click, I think it says join the Black Friday waitlist. And so join the wait list. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the comments. All right, now what this is going to do, I don't know about you, but I've already started planning my meals. I've started planning what I'm doing for the holidays with my kids, and I'm starting to get a ton of emails about Black Friday this and Black Friday that. And the thing is I know that your inbox is going to be so incredibly full. So if you fill out that Black Friday wait list, you can go ahead and be the first to know when our Black Friday bundle is completely ready to deliver to you. And it is so close. I got a good look at it today, and oh my gosh, guys, this thing is absolutely epic. It's got, okay, I would say, yeah, it's got over 30 e-courses, ebooks, bundles, worksheets, all sorts of resources just for you guys, and actual master classes. I mean, so cool. So go ahead, and if you're already on that wait list, just say, Dana, I'm in. Like, I got this. Like, I'm totally in. Cannot wait. Now, Vicki, that's a great question. Those of you who are in any of our programs, unless you are in our Conquer and Thrive coaching program, this is material that you may or may not have depending on when you've been with us. Now, Vicki, you've been with us for a long time. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to head over to your group and say, hey guys, what do I have or not have? And do I want this? Do I want to be on the wait list? And I love it. Becky says, I'm already in. I can't wait. I love it, love it, love it. Megan says, I'm so in. I saw Megan jump in earlier today already, which was so cool. Now, Megan's in our huddle, which is our membership, where we actually support you with these resources and with this bundle that we're putting together. And so, Megan, since you're already in and you are ready to have that Black Friday and those resources and that huge library, now you're going to have the resources to go back to, post inside the huddle, and we'll be able to help you sort that out, figure out which one's best for you and which one to use so that it doesn't feel overwhelming to have that huge, huge bundle. All right, guys, so I've got the link. Let me make sure I've got that ready for you. All right, so you're going to calmthechaosworkshop.com/BF-waitlist. That is our waitlist right there. So let me go ahead. I want to show you the waitlist. We are getting so close. Okay. All right. So when you click that link, you will, hopefully you can see this. You are going to see the, starting Thursday, you're going to get 98% off, guys, to get our top bundles. We've got one on listening and disciplining. That one's going to include things like e-learning and electronics fights and listening and chores and helping around the house. Then we've got a whole nother bundle just on aggressive behavior meltdowns, tantrums, fighting, sibling fighting, and outburst. We've also got some biting in there and some kicking, all sorts of things. Then our third bundle is for you, mama. It is for if you are overwhelmed, exhausted, if you feel drained and you don't know how to find your energy or get out of overwhelm, this one is for you. And then finally, we've got handle any sensory issue like a pro. So many of you guys were asking, where do I find a list of likes and dislikes? How do I figure out a plan for when I figure out those likes and dislikes? How do I know if my kids like proprioceptive or if they like vestibular? How do I know why it's happening even more? And all of that is going to be in that fourth bundle. So if you have liked this video, you are going to want to make sure you are on that wait list. Now, here's the coolest part. Is I went to bat for you guys because I know this has been such a big, big year. And I wanted to make sure that you guys have everything you need to be successful. And so we've actually added in our 3 most popular bundles from the year. It includes our bundle for surviving the holidays. It also includes our bundle for working from home and surviving parenting in a pandemic. And it also includes our how to get time alone, even though you can't leave your kids, super bundle. So this is 7 bundles for less than the price of 1. Super, super amazing. You just click that button right there and you will be signed up for the wait list. So, that was really, really small, hard for you guys to see. Sorry about that. All right. I see. I love that. I love that. Heather asked the same question. Okay. So if you guys have any questions at all, do not hesitate to ask right here in the comments or to message us. You can email help@calmthechaosworkshop.com, calmthechaosframework.com. Now, I got one more of these. Tomorrow is our very last day of the Finish Strong series. So like I said, so far we've talked about how to deal with parenting in a pandemic. We've talked about how to deal with aggressive meltdowns and increase in destructive behavior. We've talked about how to deal with your own overwhelm and exhaustion. Today we talked about how to deal with those too sensitive or too hyper or too busy behaviors. And tomorrow, I'm going to be sharing, that's all like how to deal with the past and the things you've been dealing with this year. But I know that we are looking down the barrel at 2021. And so tomorrow is all about your next steps, how to get prepared for what's to come when you don't know what's to come. This is a very different New Year's, a very different holiday, a very different winter than any of us have ever seen. So tomorrow I'm going to be talking about a couple of tips that you can use to look forward to where you're going, set set yourself and your kiddos up for success so that you don't have to be worried about all the battles and all the arguments inside your own home on top of all the chaos that's going on in the world. So cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Remember, go to calmthechaosworkshop.com/BF-waitlist, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.